How's it going, guys? Just doing a little test from the library. Probably won't be able to record here. They don't have study rooms. I'm just trying to get a bead on where I can do my show. Good morning. I have numerous show ideas. I have numerous titles for these shows. What I mostly talk about is being on the other side of black-pilled. I'm going to also be talking about what it's like to be indoctrinated on the right. And it's going to be what it's like to be indoctrinated, period, because this comes from social media sites like Facebook and Instagram specifically. It also comes from, I can't see, I'm too close. Hello. It also comes from Twitter. Okay, so this is why Elon Musk made it open source. Okay, because he doesn't need these quote-unquote fed rats anymore. Right? The way Facebook and Instagram use them. Okay, and it appears to me that these Karen creators, that's what they are, they come up with a cell phone, which is basically Stanley Kubrick's monolith, and they crank the algos, I call it algo ops, and it excites your nervous system. That's exactly what it does. So these are what's known as the Karen creators. Okay, so again, I don't know how long I can broadcast here in the library. They might not allow any talking in here at all, but I'm going to try to come at you as often as I can. I'm living in Los Angeles, and I don't have any cell phone service. I'm supposed to get confirmations for unemployment. I can't get them because I don't have any cell phone service. Okay, so I'm out serious money. Also, from the time that I was moved back to New York, it was full tilt boogie on me. They've been using this device willy-nilly. Tons of police officers know about this, and people who are actually, I don't know, they might be FBI agents getting jobs as local security guards. When I put, jobs in my, like Indeed and these job search sites, it came up for tons of security jobs. Okay, they're looking for human pit bulls. What was I? In the 1980s, guys. In the 1980s, I was a human pit bull. They tapped me. We need this guy. This guy would make a great cop. And because I was running with this underground life, I was like, I'm on the other side of the law, right? And so again, you're talking about this occurring about 30 years ago. Okay, so now I can see it differently. Now I see it more like Stanley Kubrick's monolith. I'm sorry, like Clockwork Orange, I meant to say. Where they're looking for the most ruthless people to be involved in government. That way it prevents you from getting anything from the government. But again, look what's happening. It's becoming cyclical. Okay? And now, with socialism coming in, they want us suckling the teat of the state, the quote-unquote state. Now, you can't escape the state. I'm the one who created synarchy. We are part of this thing. Now, what part of this thing you're going to be, who knows? I'm completely immersed in it, right? I live off the EBT menu, and that's it. And I'm totally slack, okay? This is pre-slack, okay? So this is what the future is going to behold. Excuse me. see a lot of people talking about time travel now. I stay away from things like that have to do with time travel, and I stay away from things that have to do with other dimensions. I stay away from that. Holy guardian angels. I was toying with these ideas a little bit, but when I do, I put them in my writing. My name's Gordon Eisen. All my writing is on Kindle. Right? You could read it for yourself. I try to do hard-boiled things, but I was kind of working on a futuristic story, which is called We Are Martian. Right? I utilize the left side of my brain, reading, writing, and arithmetic, in order to be creative on the right side of my brain. Okay? I have different ideas and notions. I never run out of ideas, ever. It's just how it is with me. And I know there's like this big scare about AI. Well, I've already explained to you that AI is being used at Facebook and Instagram. Okay, it used to be used at Twitter, and that's what the Fed rats, I call them, right? The trash rats. I'm from Detroit, by the way. I was playing punk rock in the 1980s, and I became an actor in the 1990s. Okay, because I played punk rock for 10 years, 1982 to 1992. I worked really hard. There you go. You know me, I'm bitter. It's called Grievance Gordy Show. Yeah, I got a grievance. I got a beef with a lot of people. I don't care. I'm not afraid to call people out. And by the way, I got an idea for tons of shows. I write down all my show ideas in my phone. So when you have somebody like, I watch Conspiracy Corner with Sam Tripoli and Brian Callen. Okay, Brian Callen basically repeats information that he gets from The Economist magazine. Okay, if I wanted to know what The Economist magazine had to say, I would look it up. Sam Tripoli, he takes the side of the red-pilled, which is the right. I call it alt-white. That's what I am, right? As far as being a conservative. Okay, I'm not gonna vote. Okay, not right now. I don't live anywhere. I'm a nomad, right? And I'm making myself extremely vulnerable for arrest, for targeting, right? This algo op started in New York. It actually started before that, so many people know about cranking the algos in your smartphone. It's very dangerous, and again, they're using it on this level, this low-life level, and these people, like my ex-wife, my name's Gordon Eisen, you could do a FOIA request on my name, I'd appreciate it, get involved in my channel. Right? This is an interactive channel, this is the very first like it. I was supposed to write a book where I was supposed to do all that myself, but I decided to make a channel because we're in the future. Speaking of time travel, right? People don't know about accelerationism. They don't know about any of this stuff. Okay, I talk about it on my show because I could see it writ large. And the only way that I got this interesting purview was having to go to jail, living in this low life on the low level, and then seeing how the intelligence agencies kind of manipulate things down here a little bit too. Right? Everything is a setup. Everything is entrapment. Everything. If somebody calls 911, that's the only time it's not entrapment. And even then, once they get there, they can do whatever they want. They can talk you into saying they can talk you into saying something that can write you a ticket or arrestable or something like that. They, meaning those involved. Most police officers just go to work, do their job, and come home, and coach the local baseball team or whatever they do. Right? That's why with Synarchy, I'm not targeting the quote-unquote government, right? And again, my next program, I'm going to be taking on some of these conspiracies. Okay? Like I said, you have to use your discernment. You have to take information from The Economist for whatever it's worth, And you have to mix it with the red pill in order to create your own decision with regard to an answer to a quote-unquote conspiracy. Excuse me. Right? And so these people on the left get triggered because, you know, they can't wrap their minds around the fact that people might do something underhanded. Well, I'm here to tell you, I lived it. I know how it works. They target individuals, there is no doubt. And again, I'm in Los Angeles. Why? Because I would have froze to death in Michigan. That's how much they, number one, they gaslit me. Number two, they targeted me. And number three, my family fell for it. And I knew this all the way back before my wife came to me and said, Gordon, I need your help. And I said, yes, I'll help you. And then instead of telling me she doesn't love me, she allowed for this operation to continue. She was pressing the button. These are what I call Karen creators. That's what they are. They're Karen creators. And what it does is through your device, through their device, and that's the only thing I don't know if it's their device or my device, whatever, because at one point they were coming through my device. And they were running a train on my brain, I call it, because I'm very good-natured. I get a good sense of humor, believe it or not. Most of the times I'm like very somber because I'm searching for what I'm going to say, you know what I mean? But, and it excites your nervous system. Okay? So, this is the weapon that they've been using for well over 10 years. And they scrambled my brain in 2017, guys, there is no doubt. Look at the things that happened in 2017. Chester Bennington, and other people, Anthony Bourdain, both committed suicide. So did the woman connected to David Spade. I meant to say Kate Spade, I'm sorry. Kate Spade. Okay. Very bizarre. All in the same time. What if it was your device that caused this? It's called inauthentic behavior. And it is through your device. Now, I talk a lot about conspiracies. I'm on the side. I am red-pilled. I'm actually black-pilled. I'm on the other side of black-pilled. Okay? I want to use my knowledge for good, not evil, right? I'm not putting on a beret and changing my name to Shay, even though Panic in Detroit says otherwise, right? Take a look at the Bowie song. Okay? I think I put Bowie in my book. I got a book called Two-Legged Animal. Okay? So, when you look at this, what they, meaning those involved, guys, okay? And that's why right now in the mainstream media, people are talking about getting rid of the FBI and all that. This is just malarkey. And I'm not going to participate in that at all. Okay? We are in this thing regardless. Okay? And that's why it's pretty scary what I'm doing now. I'm actually letting you guys know about all this stuff. And when you have a woman on an airplane acting out, now what happened to me was in 2017. Okay? It was the 2017-2018 era. It was nonstop. It was nonstop. It was all coming from my device, and more than likely, in a quadrillion-dollar lawsuit, you're going to find out that it came through Facebook, because I didn't have Instagram, I don't think, on my phone. Okay? So, right? So when you have a woman on an airplane saying that she's seeing an apparition, I actually believe she's seeing an apparition. And now you're getting people talking about aliens and things coming from another dimension and all this kind of stuff. I'm here to tell you, I'm calling malarkey on that. That's about the only thing I have in common with Biden. Ooh, my laser eyes and malarkey. Okay, I am calling malarkey on this. This is utter nonsense. Okay, what they're doing is they're using her device. And she is getting excited. Now, whether or not she sees this, I'm sorry to say, she might. She might be seeing an apparition. But it is coming through the device. It is not something from another dimension. Okay, and that's the scary part. I believe that Anthony Bourdain and Chester Bennington were actually killed by their device. Okay, even though I'm on YouTube exclusive, and I'm glad to be here. I am pro-corporation. I am pro-government. Why? Because it's ubiquitous. And the corporations actually, the government answers to the corporations and everybody knows it. I believe that the Constitution is basically gaslighting because Thomas Jefferson talked about the Metonic cycle of 19 years. And that's why they talk about the cicada cycle of 17. So you have 2 years that you can accelerate something. It might happen 17 years, it might happen in 19 years, but you have that little space in time. Okay? Nobody's talking about accelerationism. I am. I'm the only one. I'm the only one talking about this. Sorry about the reflection. I gotta hold my head down. I come at you live from public libraries. I'm not even supposed to be talking right now. Absolutely. We could end this broadcast at any time, but we're not going to just yet. I am the only one talking about this. The only person. And this accelerationism are these Karen creators, and it's part of cancel culture. Cancel culture, Karen creators. Okay, this is what the left is using. Right? These are like Saul Alinsky tactics. These are tactics that go way back. Right? These are tried and true military tactics. And then they come down from people working in the government, and then these people call their cousin Bubba on the phone, and they say, listen, can you harass this feller? And maybe they'll tell him how to harass him. And again, you're using a military tactic, you're using a guerrilla, quote unquote, tactic. Right? So this is what's been going on with me. So you have on the ground ops, and then you have your phone to excite your nervous system. Okay, I'm the only person talking about this. You can go watch Brian Callen if you want. But what these guys are not doing, they're not using their nous. They call it the nous. They're not using their discernment. They're just point, counterpoint. I think Sam Tripoli still believes in Bigfoot or something like that. Right? We're not about that here. And again, I'm not mad at the government, and I'm not mad at corporations. I'm not mad at anybody. I love all these big corporations. But I have an understanding of what they are and what's going on here that nobody else does. So that's why you guys share my show. That's why it's the most interesting show on, as far as I'm concerned. When people are cooked, you get cooked through your phone. And you start blathering on, you start not making any sense. Now, I might come at you kinetically, quickly, like an ADHD style, but I'm completely healed from being cooked. I was cooked in 2017. My wife knew all about it. They were running ops in New York City, and it was full tilt boogie on me. It's all passive aggressive, and this is how they operate. When you're targeted, they're just like, look, you're undesirable. Well, an undesirable individual, well, whatever, man. Until I can actually buy a house. How am I ever going to buy a house when being targeted, they won't let you even keep a job? We're going to let you go. And then when I go to get my benefits, they're saying, like, sorry, you have to have a phone. I go to get my phone, and they're like, sorry, we can't give you a phone. You're not going through the system yet. Oh, well. I am 100% slack, 100%. Okay, and what this is like a criminal creator. I'm not a criminal. I never was one, right? I had to push things because I was living like a true method actor and a true embedded journalist, okay? And that's why a lot of that stuff is BS. Because people like Hunter S. Thompson could see, like, he's working with these quote-unquote journalists, and they were just a bunch of goddamn phonies now. Speaking of phonies, we were talking about Holden Caulfield in the last episode. What Holden Caulfield was talking about was personas. Okay? Because when we go to work, we put on our cloak, we're not really the same person as we are on a Saturday playing in the park with our kids and other families on a picnic. You can kind of cut loose a little bit more, but at work you have to put on another persona. Is this not true? Okay. So when you're a child, he's getting ready to grow up, and how does he see it? Well, first of all, don't forget they said all that stuff was coded, and it was coded for other people in intelligence to understand that this was an intelligence op at all. And I'm talking about John Lennon and Ronald Reagan, what I was talking about the last episode, Holden Caulfield. You have a teenager who's growing up and he's beginning to see that, man, that the phony is me. I'm gonna have to be this phony, right? And he's a disaffected youth and all this kind of stuff. Well, look at every single quote-unquote bad guy that's in the newspaper, COINTELPRO, right? Look at every single, oh, well, he's disaffected, he's this, he's that. They use a cherry-picking fallacy. Well, you could pick anything from my past. Oh, he's a disaffected actor. Oh, he thought he was going to be in a band. This is why these trashy individuals were talking about making me the new Manson, making you the new OJ, making you the face of this, because they know. They know that it's all lies, right? So when I'm deconstructing this stuff, it's in the vein of a 57-year-old man having a full understanding of what's going on. Like I said, we all have to earn a living, but in the future, when you're going to have AI doing so much of this stuff, you have to prepare for what are the people going to do? What are the people going to do? Well, my mother grew up she was born in 1939. She actually believed in the system. She believed that if you get an education, excuse me, then you're going to get some amazing job, and you're going to live this amazing life. And for the most part, she's correct. I'm not taking anything away from her, right? But I could see it differently. I see it completely differently. I see it no matter what education you're going to get. If you stay in your hometown, you're going to end up working at the same place as everybody else because it's a one factory town. Or you're going to be working in the businesses that support that industry. And coming from Detroit, it was the car industry. And I wanted to work in a different industry. And because I didn't know my place and I didn't know my race, and I was expected to stay out of people's faces, and I said, right here. Right? I went to another state, just like my father, because my sister lived there. My father did the same thing. Right? We talk about these recurrences, and we talk about what people have in common, not their differences. Okay? I don't believe anyone knows what race even is. I think they're morons. I think they have to admit that there's 4 root races. Right? There's 4. That's it. You have to admit that. And I think with a person like me, I have, after taking a 23andMe test, I have so many ethnicities inside me that it's kind of obvious that my ancestry was marooned here early on, and that we are part of the Native American culture. But through this accelerationism, what they're trying to do is to get people to identify, so you're not quote unquote hurting somebody's feelings, whatever. How do you identify? Right? Well, in my opinion, they're just kind of pushing this bureaucratic nonsense into everybody's mind. Not everybody has a bureaucratic mindset. Actually, in 2023, now they do. Now they actually do. And so there's a pushback against this, okay? And I thoroughly believe that what's going to happen is you're going to have channels like me, like mine, and they're expecting me to go against whatever culture, either woke culture or go against, I don't know, non-woke culture, I don't know, right? Because the mainstream is adopting the woke culture narrative, and the alleged alternative is respondent to that. There you go. You still have a dialectic. Right? You still have one side pitted against the other, right? Where hopefully on my show, long it exists, we're going to take the mick out of both sides, because I can tell you emphatically how they quote-unquote indoctrinate you. And this is through AI, and it is a confirmation bias. And every time you click that likey button, here comes something to reaffirm wherever your political stance is. And you could see, like with the Q Roseannon, I call it, the Q Roseannon op, Mike Flynn himself. I don't take the mainstream media's view of Mike Flynn, okay? I'm not here to take the mick out of Mike Flynn, but what I do with Mike Flynn, Francis Haugen, people like this, I go to what they actually say, and I pull things out and I deconstruct from there, okay? And what he said was he was working on an operation to try to get mothers from across the nation to come together, and that's what this red pill narrative is, the Q Roseannon. And that's why they, in the Q op, they use actual real things that happen, and then they couple it with stuff like John's coming back. Guys, John Kennedy Jr. is coming back. He never died. Guys, this is tabloid fodder from Elvis. Elvis is still alive. We had an Elvis sighting. This is Weekly World News shit. And guess what? People got extra emotionally invested. That way people on the right can take, people on the left can take the mick out of it and say, oh, Q Roseannon, look what she believes in. She believes John's coming back. John Kennedy Jr., the tragedy that was the dead Kennedys, that's my generation, that's a band that took the mick out of this tragedy and said, let's go wild in the streets, man. And that's what I was kind of talking about on this last episode, right? The punk rock reaction to all this crazy stuff that was happening. Well, look at the crazy reactions we have now, right? But the problem is they're being excited through your device, right? So Mike Flynn said specifically that he wanted, that it was a female op. And when I was home during COVID and I was online, I had a lot of women coming to me, Gordon, what do you think about this? What do you think about that? They really wanted to know what I think, and they were kind of wrapped up into the red pill life. But they were on that side of it, right? They were conservative, quote-unquote women, right? And then you have the left who are just blue-pilled. They're just like, if, no offense, Google, but if they have a fling with Bing, then Bing supplies all the answers for them. Well, I just looked it up on my phone. It doesn't say that. Good enough. See you later. Okay, they don't look past anything. Okay, we don't do that on our show. Okay, and I'm not going to put down Christianity, but the light and the darkness are these two things right here. This is why they use the pentagram on the left-hand path, because the darkness is of this world. It is the 5 elements. So wood is one of the elements. So you have air, fire, water, so earth, right? But you also have smoke, and smoke and wood is the same thing. So they consider smoke and wood to be an element, right? Earth, it's very similar, but you know, that is darkness. This realm is darkness. What do you think the black ooze coming from this planet is? Oil. What do you think that black ooze is? Why do you think they had this black goo narrative going on for quite a while in cinema? Okay, this black goo narrative, well, the black goo is from the earth, right? And they use this black goo in order to create what? Your Gucci shoes. Okay? And so you're wrapped up into what's of this earth. But the light is right here, your discernment. The logos, that's the child. This is the parent, right? This is the parent, your discernment, right? I had some other stuff. I got tons of notes, okay? But I just want to come at you live from Los Angeles library. I moved out here so I didn't die in Michigan. I was being gaslit. I was being targeted nonstop. It continues here, but it's on such a low level that I've been through it for 10 years that I could care less. I laugh in people's faces now. It's just like, because I know what they're doing. I know what they're doing. And it's really, truly sad. And I believe part of the reason where I got targeted was being name called. I was called Zoolander for so many fucking years that they just assumed that I was so fucking dumb that they could get one over on me. And still to this day, people come up and say bizarre things to me. Okay, this is a tactic. This is a tactic used by a lot of police officers. And they'll say the most weirdest things like, oh yeah, the other day, you know, we found a body, right? So your mind, you start thinking of, you know, death, dying, or they'll say, oh, this guy was covered in bugs or something like that. So they use this, okay? Numerous people have used this, and I thought that I was in a genuine conversation with them, and I'm just trying to be a nice guy, which I am, right? But like I said, you could cherry pick anything from my past and say, oh, look at this guy. You're fucking around. You're finding out. Right? That's why it's so dangerous to name call a person, you know, and to be in a situation like I am. This is very dangerous. So, you can see me, man. I don't really care. I'm 57 years old, man. I'm going to give it what I got. I'm actually writing a novel. I'm on the other side of Black Pill. I actually want to work, and I want to work in fiction. Now, a lot of people, they'll write fiction first, and then they'll write a memoir. I did it the opposite. I did it the opposite way. Okay? I wrote the memoir first, and then I switched to fiction because I didn't really have anything to say as far as fiction. I couldn't stand fiction. I'm here to tell you, I still can't to this day. A lot of people's fiction, it's cringe. Take a look at mine. All my stuff is for sale. I put my money where my mouth is. A lot of that writing is like over 10 years old. I want to write something new, and what I'm writing is Linoleum Blown Apart. I'm going to be doing a 10-minute pitch, if I can. I'll do a son of a pitch. Right? I do my show live from the libraries in Los Angeles. And I'm homeless, and I live out of my backpack. And you don't see me, I'm not mad at anybody. I'm not mad at the slow-shouldered manatee of a fuddy-duddy who I was married to, who was in on this op 100%. It's called Cash for Smells. I guess that's what she is. I smelled her nasty scent, and I guess I was supposed to, you know, it was supposed to mean something to me. I'm here to tell you it does not. And as a matter of fact, it's even worse, knowing that she was part of this. And she was using this neurological weapon on me for 7 years. 7 years straight. They were using it at art handling companies. People were just using this, and this has been over 10 years. And I don't see one show talking about it. And that's why, you know, you have to put 2 and 2 together. You can't just have point, counterpoint. And that's what's being created in this society. Nobody is putting things together. Okay? And what I want to do, hopefully I'll be able to continue my show, and the show is basically my second memoir. I'm turning it into like an action series of my real life, right? You know, and you can participate in the show. You can get involved in the show, okay? But only you can grow the show. Only you guys can do that. So I'm at a new library right now. And I got to do some phone type stuff. But I want to thank you guys very, very much for watching. Please stay tuned. Please get involved in my show, and please share it. I really appreciate it. Have a good day.